a little bit later than planned, but welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Track Titan Community Race stream. Here we are in Canada, Montreal. I have to apologise for the delayed start. We got not taken off air. Our server has gone down, and thankfully Isaac Johansson has come in clutch and given us a server to use just for the race tonight. So that's very, very thankful of him. So big thank you to Isaac Johansson, of course. As I said, though, here at Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve in Montreal in Canada, racing the TCR cars from, well, they are the modern TCR cars, actually. The 2021 class, the only modern TCR that's actually missing from this grid is the brand new Honda Civic, fun fact. Joining me, aside from my random facts there, joining me, as ever, is Spitslam. Spitslam, a little bit later, but how are you?
Fine, thank you. Hello guys, and welcome to our little late stream with more technical issues than we have ever faced.
Yeah, it's been a challenge to get this one to air, but we're here now, and we're ready for a good evening worth of racing. 4.36 kilometres of circuit here, 14 corners, some iconic corners that you've seen across the F1 seasons for many, many years. They've been coming back here for many years, haven't they? And, well, it's been also present in many different racing series as well. But what will tonight hold? Well, that's the question on everyone's lips. Qualifying currently underway. Let's go on to track. We're following Nathan Alder around the circuit here. He's in this white liveried car here, plain white livery, so he'll stick out quite a lot when he gets towards the front, which is the place where we expect Nathan to be. Of course, a race win for Nathan last time out. The TKR stablemates took home 2 race wins last time out, of course, with Ryan Skywalker's technical problems, leaving him out in the lurch. Hopefully, they don't rear their ugly head again today, as Ryan is back to race again for yet another week. Thankfully, we're worried that, not that he'd see his arse, but, you know, I know you know how hard these races take, technical problems like that, Spitslam.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. But we are here on track with more controversies being through the week, as also we had to change the track. So I hope you guys will like the self-changing ads that we have on the circuit tonight.
Yeah, we've got some scrolling adverts, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. We have discovered an invisible wall on the first track that we raced, and it was probably late. Then you can see, or I at least see Victor Lundgren binning it into the wall of champions. Either way, he is not the champions of the day. With the fastest lap for now being into Audi RS3 TCR, the 143.493 by Ryan Skywalker, and into Cupra, Nathan Older in second, 143.623.
Yeah, the Cupra, the car of choice for a lot of the drivers out here. We've got a very Cupra-dominated grid tonight. Only 2 Audis out on track in the hands of Ryan Skywalker, and it should be a little skittle as well. Indeed, it is. Roger Sale as well making an appearance in the Audi. There's a couple Lincoln co's out, which will be to great amusement for me, as you don't really see them very often in real-life TCR racing. And then Peter Jones is out in... he's in an Alpha. He's in an Alpha representing the Alphas. He thought he was after a Renault initially, but he's changed his mind. He's gone out in the Alpha. And who else have we got on track? Hugh Jass had a Renault as well. And no Peugeots tonight. No Peugeots, which is a surprise, because I think Nicolas Barriant was intending to race with a Peugeot, wasn't he?
You forgot, I am the only Lincoln Co, and I am not racing. So...
Isaac's in the pits with a Lincoln car.
Wait, what? Which one?
Isaac Gard.
No, he's not. Oh, he is.
So we'll see if he makes it out onto the track in that iconic Chinese car. I mean, to be fair, they are good looking. It'd be good to see it out on track. The TCR cars, though, should offer up a nice bit of a challenge for the drivers here in Montreal. Obviously, it's a very fast-flowing, tight circuit with the walls very, very close to the drivers. These TCR cars do lend themselves to a nice bit of elbows out racing, though. You think we're going to see much of that tonight?
We might actually see some drifting as well, as some of the boys at the Eurobeat will come on, as when you drift, you actually slide the front tires out when they understeer, and you just bring the back out. So we actually might see some drifting here, and that bit of knowledge is from Initial D.
You're going to hook your tires on the inside of the curb and get it around the corner.
Yes,
Like
of course.
of course. Whilst you're chatting there, Nathan Alder onto provisional pole position in the Cupra, 1:43.050, beats Ryan Skywalker's best lap time by over 0.4 of a second. A ridiculously good lap from Nathan Alder there to get himself provisionally, of course, onto pole position. Just under 4 minutes remaining of qualifying, so plenty of time for the driver to improve. And a good spread of cars actually in the top 5 there. I mean, you have got 3 Cupras. But then you got the Alpha in Peter Jones's hands and the Audi in Ryan Skywalker's hands. And have we got any Hyundais out today? We do. Alexander Gray is out in a Hyundai Elantra, as is Keith Holt. These are fantastic looking cars, and they've just had a facelift in real life, which you won't see reflected in these cars, but they look even better now, don't they? Have you seen that facelift?
No, I haven't. I am not following TCR because I don't have time to follow any other series because my schedule is a little bit too action-packed with the Champions League going on as well with these coming weeks.
Nah, she's never watched the Champions League. As Mercury will tell you, and as I will tell you, the best football you'll ever see is definitely out of the Champions League, as the Blackburn fans are represented by Mercury and Nathan Alder. And their game kicks off at 8 o'clock, so hopefully Nathan's able to stick around for both races, and hopefully they don't get put to death by Burnley before Nathan gets to see the racing. Lucas Gulacek into the top 5, who's into the top 4 for a second, although he's put immediately down into the top 6 only because Alexander Gray and Victor Lundgren both come through with some very, very fast lap times. Alexander Gray in the Hyundai Elantra puts himself onto the second row of the grid, and then Victor Lundgren not far behind in that Cupra. Really, really good lap times from the drivers here. The spread from 3rd down is very, very close, isn't it? 3rd to 8th, all separated by 0.5 of a second. Should see a decent midfield battle there, shouldn't we?
Well, we definitely should, but I don't think we will see a very good battle for the top, as the Cupra of Nathan Alder has done 1:42.937.
Wow.
Into the 42s.
Improving his lap time still.
Nathan, what kind of monster are you? And he sector 1 fastest of all. Hey, calm down.
Yeah, very, very, very quick lap times from Nathan Alder, as we've come to expect from him. And it seems he can just transfer those skills into basically any car he gets his hand on, doesn't it? Hopefully Ryan Skywalker is able to bring in a faster lap time and challenge him for that pole position a bit more than the current 0.5 he is off as he makes a move on Roger Sale, his Skywalker stablemate. Tragically, Roger Sale has managed to take the original Ryan Skywalker livery. We did have some special liveries out that were going to be on the cars tonight. We were going to have a few JF Automotive liveries, and as well as, where's Roger Sale on the timing? Let's try and hunt him down so I can show off that Ryan one. There he is. That was going to be the Ryan livery. However, with our emergency server swap, we unfortunately we lost the ability to assign skins to individual drivers with the way that AC Server Manager works. So it's kind of a bit of a free-for-all. We're missing the JF Automotive skins for tonight. They're the reason why we have some all-white cars. Just so we didn't have a JF Automotive car in the hands of a random. That might confuse anyone that's here to cheer on the TKR boys. Don't want to confuse you all by seeing some random driver in your skins. Back on track though, 30 seconds remaining of qualifying. Yusuf is up into the top 10 in that Renault Megane. 2.5 seconds off the fastest lap time, but still only about half a second back from Little Skittle at 8th, so he could keep the battle in the midfield quite interesting for a little while at least. Are we going to see any late challenges for the top 3 here, Spitzlam, do you think?
We might see some very good challenges for the top 3, as Ryan improves his time only by a little. But also this tight street track, as you said, fast flowing, will be very interesting for the TCRs, as I picked this that I originally thought with the with the front wheel drive of these cars, that would be pain in some of the corners. So originally this was supposed to be torture.
John Ford into third. Sorry, Spitzlam. John Ford up into the second row of the grid. Fantastic lap time from him. Carry on.
Oh. So this was originally going to be a torture, but it seems like some of the people enjoy it. A lot of people don't. So the goal hasn't been achieved.
you were trying to make the drivers suffer, but they're actually relishing the opportunity. Well, these TCR cars do themselves some good racing and some a bit of smooth steering input or just lob it over the curbs as Andrew Glegg is doing. We'll see if that actually translates to a faster lap time. Andrew Glegg down the start-finish straight. Is he going to improve on his lap time? He crosses the line? No, he doesn't. So it looks like throwing your car over the curbs is not the fastest way to get around the circuit. Last potential challenge from Ryan Skalka here in the Audi. Can he come and take pole position away from Nathan Older? He's in second position right now, 5 tenths away. Down the start-finish straight he comes, tailing Hugh Jass, trying to get any of the slipstream that he possibly can. He's going to cross the line. Oh, he does improve his lap time. Brings the gap down to just under 4 tenths of a second, but isn't able to improve on his lap time enough to get himself into first position. And that does mean he's going to be starting from second on the grid for the start of this race. Well, decent qualifying there for us there, Spitzlin, wasn't it?
Yeah, very sorry for that. Very good qualifying that we had here. Nathan on pole position, Ryan second. It's the usual way that we see it. Some people leaving, they will join back, and still don't feel like Little Skill. No, it's not Little Skill. Sorry, that Isaac will actually not go out with his Lincoln Co.
Devastating. I was hoping to see it out, although he's still in the server for me, so potentially we might see the Lincoln Co out yet. Nonetheless, we should see some exciting racing tonight. As you can see on the right hand side of your screen, on the right hand side of the grid, Nathan Older is on pole position here in Montreal. Ryan Skywalker improves his lap time at the end of qualifying there, but he is unable to get up to first, and he's going to start in second position. Behind them, John Ford gets himself into third position. Alongside him is going to be starting Alexander Gray in the Hyundai Elantra. You've got Cooper from Audi, from Cooper from Hyundai. Great to see a decent amount of field spread here. The lights are about to go on, Spitzlam. One word answer, who's going to be in the lead by the first corner?
Nathan.
Nathan, okay. Big prediction there. 6 red lights go on for the drivers here. 6 red lights go out now, and that's a blistering start there from Ryan Skalka. He's going to try and get alongside Nathan Older, but Nathan Older moves right over to cut him off before the first corner's even going. Starting, he ducks back over to get that inside for the first corner, and as they enter into the first complex of corners, Nathan Older is leading the way from Ryan Skalka and John Ford behind him. John Ford now challenging for that second position in the Cupra behind, and Alexander Gray filtering in behind. The top 4 still as you were off the line, but Alexander Gray is under pressure now from Victor Lundgren in that Cupra, in that white liveried Cupra, coming through the chicane now, back up the hill towards this tight complex of corners. Up to come another chicane, very chicane heavy circuit here. Lots of opportunities to overtake for the drivers. It looks like Isaac Hansen is looking to send one up the inside of Andrew Glegg. He gets right up alongside him, then going to go side by side round the corner now. Andrew Glegg holds onto that position, and Peter Jones, the big winner, comes through in the Alfa Romeo, and takes position away from Isaac Hansen. And they're going to go almost 3 wide down the back straight now as they're coming alongside each other once again. Peter Jones late braking, but unable to make the move on Andrew Glegg right now. In the lead of the race is not Alexander Gray. Don't be fooled by the timing tower. It's telling you lies. Nathan Older still leading the way from Ryan Skywalker and John Ford, Spitzler.
Of course, Nathan Older still leading the race, Ryan still second, John Ford still third, but Victor Lundgren sitting down into fourth. Lucas Gulicek and Alexander Gray will battle for their 5th place, now going down the straight, which is a long straight. If you got the chicane back, like Gulicek did with the Renault, you can get up to 250 kilometers per hour. As you can see, Alexander Gray just sending it down. Now having the inside into the chicane, outside jumping the curb, going side by side. Little Robin is racing, but Gulicek has the better line off the wall of champion and off the last chicane, and he sends it again into the second lap. We have laps, not minutes. We were very quick on the server, as you can see. The Megan of used variants doesn't have that much things. No, almost going 3 wide. That's a little block by Gulicek on Alexander Gray. Going almost 3 wide into the next corner after the Via Sena. Into the joke of a 5-second penalty that there was. Gulicek going through the grass, a little skill going through the grass. And this battle is still going to be interesting as Isaac Jansen and Little Skill are battling for 9th place. And right above them is a battle for 6th place with Andrew Glegg, Alexander Gray, and Lucas Gulicek.
Yeah, very decent battle going on here between, well, all these drivers in the midfield, exactly as I would have predicted from qualifying. All these drivers matched, basically, on pace. Let's jump on board with Alexander Gray here as he tries to start an attack on Andrew Glegg. You can see him just kissing the curbs, getting right up to the wall on the exit of the chicane there, tailing Andrew Glegg all the way up this back straight towards the final hairpin of the circuit. He's going to try and make one big move down the inside, potentially on Andrew Glegg, but Andrew Glegg breaking deeper than than would have allowed a serious move from Alexander Gray to have happened. At the head of the field, still locked together, Nathan Alder and Ryan Skywalker, 0.3 of a second, still separating these two drivers. They're very, very close on track, and they're very, very close in pace. You can see Nathan Alder locking up the rear brakes there as he jumps over the curbs in the final corner, almost hitting the wall of champions there, allowing Ryan Skywalker to keep right behind him. However, that being said, potentially, the faster line is to just launch it over the curves, because he seemed to get in a few tenths there, didn't he?
It definitely did, so launch into the curves might be the strategy, but don't forget, if you launch hard enough, you're going to end in the Wall of Champions. So my question for you, Adam, is who do you think will end in the Wall of Champions as the first one for today?
Who is going to be the first into the Wall of Champions? That's a good question. Well, I mean, we have got one driver, I think, potentially going a bit wide here. Is that Keith Holt going wide? No, I think he's going through fine as it was. Excuse me, I was just looking at the track map and I think it was misleading me. My answer is going to be one of these lot in the midfield. I think it's going to be Alexander Gray into the Wall of Champions first. I think he's going to either get some assistance or he's going to bottle it with someone very close behind him. What do you think?
Yeah, don't forget even Latifi crashed into the Wall of Champions, so anything can happen.
Go Latifi.
Meanwhile, Alexander Gray just, Latifi. And Mazepin maybe did as well. Don't remember that. I know Latifi did. Alexander Gray will try and keep a battle up to Joust Vegas for a 5th place, but he's 1 second behind, so no battle is going on. Then Andrew Glegg, though, is getting really close to his rear bumper.
And a switchback from Isaac Johansson's spit slam. Just caught that in the background there. Lucas Gulicek and Isaac Johansson going side by side. Isaac managed to close up on him coming in towards the hairpin and executed a fantastic switchback manoeuvre there. Gulicek tried to defend it coming through the hairpin, but it just wasn't to do. Sorry, spit slam, as you were.
Yeah, it's fine. Lucas Gulicek now will try to send it into the chicane. It's actually named the Wall of Champions. God damn it. That's the name of the chicane. Let's go. I learned something new. But there it goes, the blinking lights of not of Little Skill, of Isaac Johansson and Little Skill, just having the benefit of the doubt into this situation. The Audi just keeps on sending it, almost tried to switch back on Lucas Gulicek into Vera Senna, but that doesn't work, and now going side by side with Isaac Johansson into the second corner with the dumb 5-second penalty that happened here, and I don't know what year it was.
It was 2018 with Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, wasn't it? Yeah, no 5 seconds penalty going on here in TCR. Fantastic four-way battle here, and then just up ahead, you might have seen at the top of the shot, Andrew Glegg, Alexander Gray, Joust Veers all getting very, very tight here as they're coming down the back straight. Alexander Gray looking to try and get into the toe of Joust Veers, get a bit of overspeed on him and then launch a move potentially, but just not happening this time round in towards this chicane. They're going to tail each other up towards the hairpin once again. And, well, move potentially on very soon there. Lucas Gulicek with a touch of oversteer as he gets out of the chicane, loses some time to Little Skittle. Little Skittle moves out to the inside, takes a position away from him, and still they're going to be side by side up towards the hairpin once again. Lucas Gulicek's going to hold that inside line now, and Alexander Gray's around! Alexander Gray, I'm so sorry for cursing you. It wasn't the Wall of Champions, it was the hairpin that claimed him. He's around, he's dropping down like a tack of bricks.
Sorry, but the Wall of Champions might see the champion in it for some time now. Ryan Skywalker and Nathan Alder almost going side by side into the Wall of Champions again, and now the gap being really close, a little bit going wide by Skywalker, but being pushed around by Nathan going side by side into the Vera Senna, the first chicane of the race, locking up the rear brake, but having such a great such a great line into the Vera Senna, and Nathan just cannot do nothing. And I figure out something: the Audi is so much faster on the straights.
The Audi certainly is so much faster on the straight. You can see it right there. The amount of speed that Ryan gained on Nathan Alder going down the start-finish straight. Nathan just couldn't do anything about it. Ryan already had the move completed before it even reached the first corner. And, well, Ryan Skywalker now into the lead of this race. Nathan Alder tailing, looking to try and find a way to get past Ryan Skywalker as they're going to tail each other back down the back straight here. Potentially, with the toe, Nathan Alder can get a bit of overspeed and Ryan Skywalker can catch back up to him. John Ford just not quite managing to keep with these two, just not too far behind them. Ooh, but Ryan Skywalker going very, very wide. Overbroke himself coming into the chicane there. Now Nathan Alder's going to come through and inherit the lead. That's a completely unforced error from Ryan Skywalker there. Breaking a little bit too late out of the back straight. Going very wide and having to slow down so he doesn't get any penalties coming back onto the circuit. Loses the position. Back in second position. Well, he's got all the work to do ahead of him now. Further back, similar issue happening for Lukas Gulacek, actually. Funny enough, little skittle through on him as well. Isaac Johansson through on Gulacek too. And now Peter Jones going side by side with Hugh Jass up towards the hairpin. They're going to try and battle their way out together. Hugh Jass trying to defend from Peter Jones in towards the hairpin. Oh, but gets a little bit of a tap there from Lukas Gulacek, I think. Almost gets sent round. He's going to hold on to that 9th position, but not for long because Lukas Gulacek's going to come through and get him side by side as they come back down towards the final corner here, towards the Wall of Champions. And, well, it's a long straight in these TCRs, isn't it? For them to make up their mind as to whether to make a move.
It's such a long time. You can play so many mind games on this one straight. It's awesome. Oh, there you have a Wall of Champion, Hugh Jass, crashing into it with the help of Lukas Gulacek. Oh, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame.
Sending Hugh Jass round then. Well, while the Wall of Champions typically claims drivers from an unforced error, that was definitely not an unforced error for Hugh Jass there. Sent round by Lukas Gulacek. I'm sure the Marshals will have a bit of a field day with that one. But as it stands, Hugh Jass now down and out of this race. Lukas Gulacek continuing in 11th position, just behind the recovering Alexander Gray, who was once upon in lofty heights, but now is down fighting for those last few points of the race in that Elantra. Peter Jones still in the Alfa Romeo, running in 9th position as we stand. Lil Skittle out on his own in 7th, and then there's this battle here over 5th position between Juice Veyers and Andrew Glegg once again. These two have been locked together for a few laps now, and it's interesting to see the difference in speeds between the different pieces of machinery as well. Of course, Juice in the Megane and Andrew Glegg in the Cupra. It's interesting to see whether Juice can actually, well, I suppose catch up to Andrew before the end of this race.
There's one thing I figured out, and that's acceleration is not a very good point for these cars. It's painful to watch as well. If you just watch some acceleration from the slow corners, it's pain to even watch it. It's even more pain to feel it. So the gap's actually going pretty wide. Look at Gulacek and Justvers and Andrew Glegg being the only real battles on track right now. I say that, and Just loses so much time to Andrew Glegg. Oh god.
Yeah, but with that, Andrew Glegg also gained some time to Victor Lundgren ahead of him, so potentially we've got... If these three can crunch together, we'll have a nice three-way battle for 4th, won't we, soon?
Oh, we definitely will. And these corners, I think it... Of course, but we can have some really good battles in these cars. And also, track provides them as well, because one missed braking point or one missed curb means you lose at least 2 to 3 tenths a lap.
Yeah, I think the margins are quite wide here in the TCRs. Like you say, you can lose quite a few tenths with just a few messed up corners. And whilst last week we were in the NASCARs where 2 seconds could disappear in an instant, I think it's quite the opposite here, where these gaps are going to really open out, but they're going to take a little bit of time to close back in, I think, and it's going to basically rely on driver error. These are very stable cars, aren't they? They don't like to go around too easy.
But they definitely do not like to go around easy. You are just not going to see one spin, but maybe you're going to see one today. You'll maybe see one tip over. And I say that Peter Jones and Isaac Johansson almost going side by side to Alfa Romeo, trying to make moves now into the Epingle. One of the last hairpin, the switch back on, and the acceleration of that Alfa Romeo. That's what you want to see. The Cupra has nothing to do with it, and that Alfa Romeo is just flying away.
Isaac Johansson had absolutely no answers for that, but here he comes, bump drafting Peter Jones down the start-finish straight, and he is Still tailing him, but I was hoping that there would be a move launched there into the Wall of Champions, but there wasn't, and Isaac Johansson's going to stick in 9th position for a little while longer. Not too much longer, evidently, though, because now he pulls out alongside Peter Jones, takes the 8th position back from him, as he got a much better exit from the Wall of Champions there, just taking his lines a little bit better. Peter Jones, big lock up into the first corner there, sideways, all the way over the grass, still holding on to that 9th position. Got to come back on Isaac Johansson with a bit of that extra speed that he got from going off, and, well, that's a bit of a ropey move from Peter Jones there, but he's up into 8th position for now. Still side by side into the centre chicane they go. Peter Jones ahead of Isaac Johansson, ahead of Alexander Gray, and a fantastic 3-kart battle on our hands as Peter Jones leads them still. It's Alpha from Cupra from Hyundai here at Montreal. Isaac Johansson just defending a little bit from Alexander Gray there. He has to think about foot ahead and behind now, doesn't he? It's not just attack Peter Jones now.
Yeah, it's defend and protect as well. Alexander Gray getting really close, and there's another Lumen Shark right behind Alexander Gray. Lucas is trying to join the battle as well. As I said, the rear beat comes on. Come on, Alex, this is no drifting. You should not use your rear brakes that much. Miss Lucas just joined the battle, and Alexander detached from it. So now we have not a two-way battle. Yeah, but two battles on track right behind each other. It seems like Gulicek is just sending it down. But the switchback will work for Alexander Gray. I don't know who has the better acceleration of these two cars. Seems about the same. And now going side by side on to the back straight.
Two of the most popular TCR cars in the world here, the Hyundai Elantra and the Cupra. If you see any real-life TCR racing, you'll see a big, bountiful amount of these two cars, and it's great to see that they are locked at the horns here in the virtual world as well. Lucas Gulicek looking for a move up the inside, thinks better of it as he comes through the Wall of Champions. Alexander Gray still holding on to that position for a little while longer. And, well, as I say, there's a great array of cars here on display for us. We've seen a few of the strengths and a few of the weaknesses. It seems like that Alpha's got a bit more acceleration out of slow corners, but in the mid-speed, that Cupra, it seems to really stick to the floor, doesn't it?
It definitely does, and in high speed, the Hyundai seems the best.
The Cupra, of course, being the most recent generation as well, bear in mind. That's the Competitions, so the brand new Cupra that we're seeing on our screens. So the latest they have to offer, and it's a good package. It's a good package. It's as we can see from Nathan Alder in the lead of this race, but Lucas Gulicek just not able to get his way past the Hyundai for now, is he?
The last time we raced only the Cupras was at Spa-Francorchamps. That was Spain to drive even more than Montreal. Now it was Spain to find the track to race it on. But the last time my timing tower was not very well. And as I say that, Ryan Skalker is not messing with my timing tower, and I am not dreaming. But he somehow gained around a second of time on Nathan Alder.
Yeah, I think Nathan Alder must have made an independent error there, because he's dropped back about 0.5 of a second to Ryan Skalker in a corner or two, and now he's right up behind him, Ryan Skalker, looking to take that first place position away from Nathan Alder at some point soon, but Nathan's not going to relent very easily, is he? I think it's just, once again, it's going to come down to them individual mistakes as we see Ryan Skalker miss an apex into the first corner there.
Yeah, definitely Ryan's not giving up with 142.504 in the fastest lap of this race as well. Right now, that's the end of the lap that we have seen. So Ryan is not just giving up on this first position.
Still a great battle going on further behind. Alexander Gray is through on Isaac Johansson. Isaac Johansson dropping like a sack of bricks because he's also behind Lucas Gulicek now. That must have been a bit of an error there from Isaac Johansson, or potentially was helped around by Peter Jones, because he's dropped 2 positions in just as many corners there. Peter Jones now storming away at the head of this midfield battle. He's taken 8th position, and he's now trying to tail Little Skittle and take that position away from him as well.
Some very interesting balls going down into midfield. Andrew Clegg getting a little bit closer to Victor Lundgren. And Lucas dropping a little bit as well, as Isaac Johansson overtaking him 4th and place, so more points for him.
Yeah, a few extra points on hand for Isaac there.
Ryan touching the wall on Epingo, but still somehow gains time. Interesting.
Yeah. No, impressive from Ryan Skywalker to manage to hit the wall and gain some time there, and potentially that wall bounced him back onto the racing line. You can see Nathan Alder still throwing the car around that final chicane there. It seems to be that seems to be the way that works for him to be driving this TCR, and it is a common way to drive these TCRs. But Ryan Skywalker sticking to a bit more of an open wheeler line there, avoiding the heavy curbs and just touching them on the inside there. He gets his corners right this time round to the first corner, doesn't miss that apex, and actually closes up a little bit on Nathan Alder. This battle really hotting up with 4 laps left to go for these drivers. Do you reckon Nathan can hold on to the end of this race?
Definitely seems like if he keeps on throwing the car, there's a fine margin with that. So it seems like he's doing it 11 laps in a row, so it actually might work for him, and he might keep the position. Keith having a little crash, don't know where that is. Also, I don't care anymore, because Keith is last and into the pits he goes. But the battle for the lead is the closest battle we have on track.
Yeah, it's very fortunate for us as commentators, isn't it, to be able to commentate on the most interesting thing, also being the race for the lead. Oh, it's Nathan Alder gets it all wrong. He goes sideways out of the chicane. Ryan Skywalker gets caught up behind him, taps his back end. Fortunately for Nathan, he's unfazed by that, carries on as he was, but Ryan Skywalker comes a cropper, stamps on the brakes to try and avoid going into Nathan, and ends up going round himself, and now comes John Ford to try and take this position away from him. Third and second battling out here. Second place still being held on by Ryan Skywalker. He's going to be looking in his mirrors and seeing it's full of John Ford, and suddenly this first place battle has disappeared and has become a second place battle between Ryan and John Ford.
One little mistake is all it takes.
What we were
It's
saying.
for every race and it's even for here. But Nathan has the lucky boy charm today, seems like it. Because John Ford is throwing it around all of champions as well. And goddamn, how does that work?
Fantastic move from John Ford there, just absolutely sending it up the inside. Not sure what the track limits are going to be looking like in that final corner, but for now it seems like launching the car over the curves is the fastest way to get around the wall of champions. And Ryan Skywalker now down in third position. 3 laps left to go for him to retake the position away. We saw Ryan clear away from John Ford earlier in the race alongside Nathan, but without Nathan to tail and to duke around with and get the toe off, do you reckon Ryan's going to be able to get past John Ford? He's certainly posing like he will.
Definitely seems like it now going around this turn, you will go 5th gear. Now breaking into the next corner, which doesn't have a name. A lot of these corners don't have a name. Don't know why. It seems pretty weird. But yeah, as I said, the Audi seems very powerful on the straight. So now on a kind of a straight, we'll see Ryan just gains, and now just a little daring dive will do the trick.
I think it's going to come down to that, isn't it? I think it's going to come down to just tailing up towards a corner, like the hairpin coming up, and just making a big lunge, potentially on the cards now for Ryan Skywalker as he looks, tailing John Ford, looking to break a little bit deeper than him. Indeed, he does. Look at him right up the inside, pushed to the grass by John Ford there. John Ford leaving absolutely no room for Ryan Skywalker to get through there. Ryan Skywalker unable to make that move stick, but John, all the time, you have to leave it the space. All the time, you have to leave it the space, says Fernando Alonso. And Ryan Skywalker, I'm sure, is not going to be too happy with the amount of space that he's been afforded there, but he's got 3 laps to go to make this move stick. It looks like it's potentially on the cards the way that Ryan is posing at the minute, but John is going to defend for all that he's worth as he launches it over the curbs once again, almost most drivers hitting the wall of champions.
They're actually driving at very fine margins. Very close to the wall. Lucas Gilles-Villneuve overtaken Isaac Johansson off the screen. Now one of the closest battles as well. But now focusing up front, John Ford versus Ryan Skywalker. These two will be locked in horns for a good long time. But as well, Ryan is the only Audi and the only different car in the top 5. John Ford makes a mistake in that third. Oh, that reminded me of something really similar. You very know what I'm talking about. Now breaking into the next corner, and John Ford is not having a real good time. Maybe even will get a penalty from that, which I will doubt if he does not. Because that reminded me of a certain move.
I didn't quite catch it on the camera there, but John Ford certainly dropping behind Ryan Skywalker through that iconic chicane. Ryan now clearing a little bit of a gap between himself and John Ford, a couple seconds of Ford between them, and it looks like that move has been made. And then flashing through the shot in the background there, you see Andrew Glegg and Victor Lundgren going side by side up towards the hairpin. Now, Victor Lundgren on the inside line, Andrew Glegg on the outside line. Andrew's going to try and hang it around the outside here. Maybe get the switch back on him, as he does indeed duck back up underneath, barges Victor Lundgren out the way, says, I'm here, and makes space for me. But unfortunately, it doesn't pay off for him. He drops back behind Victor Lundgren. He's going to have to try another attack coming down this long straight. Andrew Glegg is going to be tailing him for a long time, thinking about where to make his move, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Only 2 laps to go. Actually 3 for these guys, but now a dive that will be daring into the wall of champions. Oh, almost tries the switchback going onto the outside, but now we see the better acceleration of Andrew Glegg onto the start-finish straight. Start-finish bend? I don't know what it is. Now going into the first corner, then into Varsana. Oh, it's racing. And Andrew just flying away from it. Like a smooth criminal. That's the way I would say it.
Yeah, Andrew managing to get up the inside of Victor Lundgren there. Victor Lundgren potentially trying to turn into a gap that wasn't there. Getting on the grass on the outside of the circuit and then losing a bit of time to Andrew Glegg. Andrew Glegg now clearing off in 4th position. Put a little bit of daylight between himself and the Swedish driver behind him. And he's going to be looking to keep that distance just like that for the next couple of laps. 1.5 more laps to go for the drivers here. Isaac Hansen's back on Lucas Gulacek. These two have been having a ding-dong battle for the entire race long, and it's great to see from these two drivers being so close together. And then Nathan Alder still in the lead of this race, up at the hairpin, in a bit of a no man's land. He's going to come through to try and lap some traffic very shortly. I think that might be Keith Holt on the back straight. No, not Keith Holt. Not sure who that is, but potentially Roger Sale there on the back straight. But Nathan Alder still in the lead of this race. He got very fortunate, I think, to not be sent around by that small incident between himself and Ryan Skauka there. And, well, he's cleared off since that incident. 9 seconds between himself and the next closest driver, which is still Ryan Skauka in 2nd position. And commanding this race from the front.
Well, not that commanding. If that crash hadn't happened, what a racing he would have get for the final lap that he is now on. As Ryan just goes through. But yeah, a lot of gaps have opened up, and the closest battle is for 10, which is now going onto the large back straight.
Still some good battles on in the midfield for this final lap of the race. Lil Skittle, Peter Jones and Alexander Gray not separated by too much at the minute, and then Isaac Hansen, Lucas Gulacek, of course, them two still locked together in them equal machinery, both in the Cupras, of course. Not too much going on though, as this slightly longer race here with 15 laps instead of 15 minutes. That's a clerical mistake on the part of me setting up the server in a rush, but it has led us to have a bit more of a settled race, I think, today, hasn't it? For the drivers settling in for a bit of a... They've got in their minds to have a bit of a longer race. They have to, drive a bit cleaner.
Well, that's gonna be sad for a lot of people, but yeah. Nikos Gulacek still, he's one of the drivers that doesn't have a very clean race for today. It's not like I did very much better. But yeah. There seems this battle will go on until the end of time as Nathan Alder rounding out the wall of champions, still throwing his car through that chicane. Now seeing the checkered flag right in front of his eyes, blinks the lights and throws it B1 for the first TCR race. Ryan Skauka a little bit bummed out, finishes 2nd. Is it the first race? Do we have 2 races? I don't know.
Yeah, this is the first race. It feels like the second race because it's been so long.
And John Ford finishes 3rd.
Yeah, indeed. You got 2 TKI drivers in the top 3. Andrew Glegg, the 3rd TKI driver on the grid, in 4th position. So another good showing for the TKR team on the grid. Victor Lundgren in 5th, Just Veyers in 6th. Victor Little Skittle's going to come across the line. He's managed to secure 7th place ahead of Peter Jones, Alexander Gray, Isaac Johansson, still staying ahead of Lucas Gulacek just about as they come through the wall of champions now. But Lucas Gulacek going to try and take the position away from him on the final lap. Isaac Johansson's going to push him right to the wall. Lucas Gulacek has a little bit of overspeed on him, and he takes 10th position away from him on the line. Lucas Gulacek with a big move there, coming out of the wall of champions, takes 10th position from Isaac Johansson in 11th. And then it's going to be Roger Sale and Keith Holt coming through to finish the race.
Isaac just deboned into the driver at the end of the race after that. God damn. What an interesting race. Wait, so you're saying we have 15 more laps of this?
15 more laps to go. It's another long race, so we're settling in for another long one. But race 1 won by Nathan Alder. That means he's going to be starting from the back of the grid for this upcoming race. Who's going to be starting in the front row? It's going to be Keith Holt starting on pole position for this one. Isaac Johansson's going to be alongside him. Lucas Gulacek, a very fast driver there, in 3rd position. And Alexander Gray in 4th. He got very, very quick drivers in the top 4 right now. We could potentially see some of these drivers run away with it, whilst those quicker drivers have to fight through the pack behind, couldn't we?
We have the official time that Isaac Johansson finished behind Gulacek. 128 milliseconds.
Wow. What a tight finish there.
Things will be interesting as the grid lines up for the next race.
Yeah, the driver's getting ready to go again. A bit of a wait for them on the grid as everything gets ready and make sure everyone's back in the server. Elantra on pole, Cupra alongside. Then it's Cupra and then Elantra. So we'll see who comes out on top between the Hyundais and the Cupras. We did see in that race that them two cars seem to be very, very well evenly matched. That Alpha might storm through with that good acceleration that it seems to have from 5th position in the hands of Peter Jones there. Of course, we'll wait and see. The red lights are about to go on for the 14 drivers on the grid. I think it is 15, 16. I should have counted them before. 6 red lights on for the drivers here. Keith Holt starting from pole position. Isaac Johansson starting alongside. The red lights do go out now, and away we go. And Keith Holt does get a good start in the Elantra. Isaac Johansson moves over to try and get up to the inside line and cover off Lucas Gulacek into the first corner. But they're very even in towards the first few corners here, side by side as they started on the grid. A few moves further back, but for now, Keith Holt holding on to that lead ahead of Isaac Johansson. And here comes Lucas Gulacek looking up the inside of Isaac Johansson in towards the chicane. He's going to try and get up alongside him, but Isaac Johansson's going to defend that inside line with all of his worth and try and take this position away from Keith Holt. On the first lap now, they come round the long right-hander here in towards the chicane here at turn 5. Keith holding on to the position for a little while, placing his car very, very well, defending well. Alexander Gray locks up his brakes, loses a bit of time to Peter Jones behind, and Peter Jones is going to start his attack on the back straight now in the Alfa Romeo on Alexander Gray, but he's going to lose time and lose a position to Little Skill, who moves through and past on him with ease. Lucas Gulacek is side by side with Isaac Johansson. They're going to bump into each other coming through the chicane. They're both going to be losing time to Keith Holt now. Keith Holt running away with it, and Alexander Gray takes another position away. He's up into 3rd position. Little Skittle now into 6th position and trying to get alongside Just Veyers, who's coming through with some pace, it must be said, in that Renault Megane, and more chaos further ahead as Lucas Gulacek has managed to bump into Alexander Gray, and Eustace trying to come onto the back of the pair of them, and there's about 5 cars separated by half a second here. Ryan Scowick at the back of the pack, he's had a rough time in that first lap, and this is very, very chaotic start from the drivers, isn't it, Spitzlam?
It's a very chaotic start to the race, as behind you see two freeway battles going into the wall of champions. Victor Lundgren goes through the wall of champions, and just everybody all bunched up. There you go. This is the kind of racing we want to see. Now also almost getting 3 wide onto the next run into the first corner, going 2 wide, almost Victor Lundgren. And Keith.
Oh, Keith.
Oh.
Victor diving to avoid Keith. He's backwards in the first corner. Isaac Johansson's going to inherit 1st position away from him. Lucas Gulacek behind. Just Veyers in 3rd position. Alexander Gray dropping down the order very, very quickly there. Just in the Megane in 3rd position. John Ford up into 4th, all the way from 3rd last. Lil Skittle in 5th. I think Nathan Alder now down in 9th position. He's not moved through quite as I would have expected him to, Spitzlam.
He did not. Ryan Scoker is stuck in a place as well. Now moving up in position as I say it. There he goes into 10th place. But he has a long way to go. Right before him is Nathan. But Nathan has tons of traffic before him as well. The closest battle right now, Andrew Glegg and the little skill. Andrew Glegg spinning out both. Oh, that could have been horrible.
Fortunately, most of the drivers avoided that major incident there. Lil Skittle and Andrew Glegg, the only ones that have come a cropper there. Lil Skittle limping home a bruised and broken Elantra. Lucas Gulucek going very, very wide in the hairpin.
Look at Gulucek going wide with longer and just sending it onto the grass of the hairpin as well. There you go. Ryan moving up into 7th and Nathan into 6th.
Yeah, 4 drivers in the head of this pack, separated by just about under a second, and then 4 more drivers behind them as Ryan Skywalker, looks to be making the move on Nathan Older. Nathan Older defending aggressively to the inside into the wall of champions. Is he going to do that trademark launch? Oh, Peter Jones launches a bit too hard. Oh, and Alexander Gray clips the back of Ryan Skywalker, sends Ryan Skywalker into the pit wall. Mechanics are diving up for cover. Peter Jones dives for the pit lane, but then thinks better of it and comes back onto the circuit. And that's how a simple mistake ahead of you can end up causing so much havoc for the drivers behind us. Now Ryan Skywalker is down in 12th position.
This is what I expected. This is why I chose the street circuit. This is why pain has begun for Ryan as well. So Ryan is actually monitoring his heart rate. So after the race, we'll hear some very interesting results as Isaac Johnson takes the lead. The Swears being second, almost taken round. John Ford right behind him, and right behind him is Lucas Gulchik as well. It's a 4-way battle for first place.
Epic battle here down the back straight. We kind of clocked it before, but it's really hotted up now here. Juice Veyers pulling out to the inside, trying to take the position away from Isaac Johansson. He's going to get up the inside, get a little bit too much up the inside, get a big slap of oversteer as he clips Isaac Johansson. Isaac Johansson, similar to how Nathan Older and Ryan Skywalker came together, comes off better. Steams up the road as Juice Veyers hold into that second position, but here comes John Ford. Oh! John Ford clips the back end of Juice Veyers. Pit maneuvers him. He tries to defend from Lucas Gulchik. Lucas Gulchik forces the inside line open. Use goes around, but then rejoins as he bounces off the wall. He's in 7th position. Nathan Older inherits 6th position. And this battle at the head of the pack is really getting spicy as John Ford moves over to defend from Lucas Gulchik. Lucas Gulchik really attacking John Ford now, trying to find a way past the British driver ahead. Isaac Johansson looking in his mirrors and seeing it's also full of John Ford. And this 3-way battle is getting very, very hot. And behind it, Nathan Older is lurking, looking to pick up the scraps here, looking to take the positions away from these drivers. If they come together again, it seems like Nathan might move through and take this this lead away from him, right?
It definitely seems like
John
that.
Ford!
Oh no!
Oh, he tries to move up the inside into the first corner, gets put around. Isaac Johansson defends, and John Ford potentially with an ambitious move there goes around, backs himself up into Nathan Older. Nathan Older ends up dropping back. Isaac Johansson holds on to the lead. Lucas Gulchik in second. Juice Veyers and Nathan Older. Ryan is down and 12th. What's happened to him
9 seconds behind. Great question. I don't know. Peter Jones is out of the race. There goes Peter Jones. He's going to take his second with a lot. Not that much of a time. For Isaac Johnson. Isaac Johnson actually was blinking his lights at something when he was first as well. He maybe still does that. Don't know why. That's a very weird thing to do. But destroyed hopes and dreams. That's what Ryan's life is right now. And very interesting things going on in this race.
Certainly is. This battle for the lead is hotted up once again. Lucas Gulchik inherits the lead from Isaac Johansson, makes the move around the outside, but Isaac Johansson defends like a lion, covers that inside line, leaves absolutely no room for Lucas Gulchik, and then takes that first position back from him. Lucas Gulchik might be chuntering to himself. That was a brisk defence. And then we've got, once again, a 4-way battle for the lead. You could throw a blanket over the 4 of them. Isaac Johansson still in the lead of this race. Lucas Gulchik not too far behind, looking to make a move, but he's also having to defend from Juice Veyers, who's sniffing behind, as is Nathan Older. Nathan, once again, is going to launch the car over them curbs there. Juice Veyers, big slap of oversteers. He gets a bit too much sausage curb, and he loses some time. And here comes Nathan Older up the inside of Juice Veyers, up the inside of Lucas Gulacek. Lucas Gulacek's going to try and defend him, but it's not going to happen. Nathan Older, with so much overspeed, manages to take that position away, and they're 3 wide into the first corner. Lucas Gulacek outbreaks himself, comes back on to defend the line from Juice Veyers, pushes Nathan Older very wide. Juice Veyers tries to take advantage of it, ends up coming around, and now we've almost got a 7-way battle for second place, because all this time, Isaac Johansson is just clearing away in the lead of this race.
We've got an 8-car battle. Victor Lundgren is in this as well. It's 8 cars for 1 place. That place being being second. What is happening? This is not NASCAR. This is TCR. Welcome to the world of racing, I guess.
This is proper TCR racing. Alexander Gray and John Ford going side by side. Andrew Glegg trying to come and take advantage of them two coming together there, losing a bit of time, but he's unable to because Alexander Gray plucks himself and blocks the road so Andrew Glegg can't come back through. He's going to get a good view here as Alexander Gray locks up his brakes. John Ford looks to defend from him. Goes a little bit wide though, loses a bit of time, and Alexander Gray is going to have that overspeed. Looking backwards from him, you can see Victor Lundgren and Andrew Glegg gaining on him all the way down this straight. It seems like every driver's gaining on every driver. Isaac Johansson, Lucas Gulacek in the lead of this race. Lucas Gulacek trying to go around the outside. Goodness me, big slap of us here from Isaac Johansson. Holds onto the lead. Juice Veyers and Nathan Older also side by side. Goodness me, Sitsalam, I can't keep my breath.
I can't keep my breath as well. So much is happening in one thing. Lucas Gulacek now going right behind the exhaust pipe of Isaac Johansson. Some people going side by side right behind them. Who was that? Is Nathan Older going side by side with Juice Veyers? Lucas Gulacek going into the Wall of Champions side by side.
Oh, right, wow.
Getting the chicane. Some people getting the chicane.
John Ford in the wall.
In the Wall of Champions. Gone. Forgotten. Get out. You don't matter anymore. Andrew Glegg attacking Victor Lundgren while is being attacked by Alexander Gray. Alexander Gray trying to make a move into the first corner, now into Virage Senna, making a second move. A little bump in his racing. Here we go. DCRs, what is this?
Fantastic racing here in Montreal. This is what we were after. We've got 9 more laps of this to go. That's almost 20 minutes of racing to go. Isaac Johansson still somehow in the lead of this race as he keeps clearing off as all the battles happen further behind.
Alexander Gray sending it into NEG somehow sticking it, and also taking Victor Lundgren. These two guys going side by side, the two Cupras having a little battle. That means another one bites the dust. There we go. Oh, Victor Lundgren bites the dust as well.
No! Oh, and he rejoins the circuit and clips Alexander Gray, sends him round as well. And that's 2 Swedish drivers round in the chicane here on the back straight. Lil Skittles coming through on them, Keith Holster on them, as is Roger Sale. And these battles are just getting steadily smaller and smaller. The Gulacek goes wide, Nathan Older comes through, Isaac Johansson comes through for the lead of this race, but Lucas Gulacek is going to come back and try and battle Nathan Older. Down the back straight they come, towing each other down this long back straight here. Goodness gracious me, here? In the final chicane, is Nathan Older going to make this big move, launch himself over the curbs? Lucas Gulacek dives down the inside. Is that move ever going to happen? Surely not. Cuts half the circuit, takes the lead of the race, but he's going to have to give that back as Isaac Johansson and Nathan Older come through. Andrew Glegg and Juice Veyers come back through as well. They are both tailing each other for 4th and 5th position, and this is a really spicy race, isn't it?
A little bit too spicy for me. As I said, another one bites the dust. There went Victor Lundgren just spinning around like being a mixer in a blender. I don't know what happened there. Nathan Older will try and slipstream Isaac Johansson. There goes a mistake by Lucas Gulacek and NDG. Also almost going side by side into the 3rd and 4th corner. Now after that, going into the 5th corner, Nathan Older going to go side by side with Isaac Johansson. Isaac Johansson still keeping the position, now going into 6th, 7th and 8th. Now going, oh actually only 7, sorry, no 8th corner, not for now. And Nathan is just so close, but it's a 5-way battle for 1st place.
It's crazy here. It's crazy here for 1st place. Nathan Older's trying to take the position away from Isaac Johansson. Isaac Johansson just about defending, but Nathan Older, fantastic move from him through the chicane there. Andrew Glegg was well off the circuit there. Not sure what happened to him, but once again, here comes Lucas Gulacek. He just can't get away. He's like a mosquito flying around Nathan Older and Isaac Johansson. They're swatting him away, but he keeps coming back, and here he is for 2nd position. Isaac Johansson up the inside gives him a good old bump on the inside, really trying to smack him out of the way, but Lucas does not know when to give up, and here he comes back at Isaac Johansson again. Nathan Alder in the lead of this race. Andrew Glegg just behind Lucas Gulacek. There's 3 drivers separated by about 1/10 of a second here, all tailing each other down the start and finish straight, all in the Cupras. Andrew Glegg on the farthest inside, Lucas Gulacek in the middle. Andrew Glegg's going to try and break very, very deep in towards the wall of champions. He can't make that stick, surely. He certainly can't. He almost goes round, blocks Isaac Johansson and Lucas Gulacek there. And they're still 3 wide down the start finish straight. And Juice Veyers is into the wall and out of this battle.
I know one bites the dust, as I love to say right now. Lucas Gulacek also almost bites the dust as well. I just see blue and sign everywhere. And there goes Gulacek in his grey livery getting slam dunk by everyone here. Oh, and like having some mistakes on here.
Oh!
Why? What? No, that's team orders. You cannot say otherwise.
Goodness
There's
gracious.
no way you T-bone him like that.
Andrew Glegg, I think potentially just getting his braking points wrong, or potentially getting quite sick of Victor Lundgren, Lucas Gulacek. He puts him into the wall there in the chicane. We're surely going to see a heavy penalty points for Andrew Glegg there for that robust manoeuvre. But that does calm down this first place battle for a bit for the last half of this race. 8 laps completed, 7 laps to go, and well, now the battles have calmed down a little bit, haven't they?
Well, they definitely have, but I am fuming.
It was a robust manoeuvre, wasn't it? Certainly not certainly not the kind of thing that you like to see. And as you kept saying, it just they started dropping like flies, didn't they? We had an 8-car battle, and then one would drop back, and then one more would drop off in the wall, and one would get punted off, and then it all comes to a head just like that. Now the battles are separated, and this is the closest thing on track now.
What? I'm so confused. This is a mess. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 5 people gone. With Nathan now setting a faster time than his qualifying lap, 1:44.229, and he's flying away in first place.
He certainly is. Big gap in the lead of this race for the last 6 laps of the race, and well, if it doesn't get too excited soon, I might fall asleep. I might turn off. I need to watch the Leeds game. We're battling for relegation. Keith Holt is still defending from Victor Lundgren in 5th position. We've lost about half of the grid in this race. It's been a very, very difficult one. Very difficult one here. For a lot of the drivers, and a lot of them have dropped out. But those who do have stick around will be getting the points. Remember, even if you finish last in this race, you'd still be taking home quite a lot of points here. Even if you finish this race just in last, you'll be finishing in 9th position. So if anyone's dropped out and fancies coming back, just to do a few laps, you might be taking home a decent haul of points for the championship. Roger Sales currently in 8th position, Little Skittle in 7th, Victor Lundgren in 6th, and then there's this battle here. Him and Keith Holt going side by side together, almost coming through the chicane. Keith Holt dropping time to Victor Lundgren, potentially to Little Skittle behind. Victor Lundgren looking to take the manoeuvre. Oh, and as this has all been happening, there's a good battle forming for 2nd position. Once again, we're seeing it happen. Isaac Johansson and Andrew Glegg now, they are duking it out for 2nd position. And I didn't even clock that happening, Spitzler.
You don't have to clock that. I am looking right now, and it's 0-0. Just so you know, it's 0-0.
What, Leeds and Leicester? That's not true.
No, Burnley and Blackburn.
Oh, Burnley and Blackburn. Burnley and Blackburn. That's what Nathan Alder and TKR Mercury are going to be caring about.
Leeds and Leicester. Leeds has 1 point. It's 1-0.
Yes, I know. I'm most happy about
Leeds.
it. For now, I'm sure we'll lose.
I'm sure
we'll concede 5 goals in the next half. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough. Enough footy chat. Because this race has been going on longer than normal. I wasn't ready for the 8 o'clock kickoffs.
Oh god. Well, the match I wanted to watch just ended, and it started before the stream. So yeah, there we go as well.
Well, that's fortunate.
We won 2-0 as well. So we maintain the win of the league for now. Otherwise, getting back to the race, Andrew Glegg getting really close to Isaac Johansson right here. And as I stated, Andrew Glegg just decides to bin his rear brakes and say that I'm dumb. there goes. About, as I said, that he's still in sending range.
Certainly is. It seems like anything's within sending range so far, though. I kept saying that you had to be a bit closer, but I mean, the way that the driver's been going, you could be back 5 seconds and still launch a move. Andrew Glegg still holding on to this second place battle. He's trying to take this position away from Isaac Johansson. He's tailing him down the back straight now, and it looks like he might be gaining a little bit of time now down the long straight with the toe. Moves out to the inside line. Is he going to carry that speed? Oh, Isaac Johansson aggressively over to defend. Doesn't leave the room for Andrew Glegg there, and Andrew clips him on the back as they come through the wall of champions. Both the drivers keeping it out of the wall, though, very fortunately. Isaac Johansson moving over to defend from Andrew Glegg, but Andrew Glegg is well alongside him now, looking to take the second place away from him. Isaac Johansson's going to have the outside line, Andrew Glegg on the inside line, surely breaking a little bit deeper. He's going to take this position away, but as they come back on it, Isaac Johansson now has the inside line, clips Andrew Glegg, almost goes around. Andrew Glegg looks to get the switchback manoeuvre as they come towards the chicane. He's on the inside line once again ahead of Isaac Johansson, and they're still rubbing together. You say rubbing is racing, but this is barely rubbing. This is just bumping and barging. This is proper touring car action. Andrew Glegg with a bit of speed in Isaac Johansson, but Isaac Johansson once again leaves no space, moves over to defend, as is his prerogative in the lead of this battle. Andrew Glegg getting frustrated with Isaac Johansson now. Gives him a little bit of a touch there. Isaac Johansson goes very, very deep, locks up his brakes, drops back into third position. Andrew Glegg is into second position. It's a TKR 1-2 now with that move.
Definitely is, but we have, again, 4 Cupras in our top 5, with the Megan of Joust Reyes being 4th.
Yeah, Just is just having a bit of a quiet race, really, isn't he, on his own in that Renault Megane? I think the only Renault Megane that's left on the circuit, actually. Just chilling in 4th, right? Looking to pick up any scraps.
Yeah, why not? That works for everyone. As the race calms down, maybe you can just hear some of these engines of these cars.
We'll just listen to the tunes. As the battles really have settled down here on circuit, there's a few second gaps between each driver, and it feels like a 2018 season of TCR UK here with about 7 drivers left on the circuit. Keith Holt trying to catch back up to Little Skill. He lost that position not too long ago. Trying to tail him, but unable to make it happen. John Ford is in the pits. He's not left the pits the entire race, actually. Not sure what's happened to John. Baby Skywalker's commented, he says, look under your seats. You get a penalty. You get a penalty. Everybody gets a penalty. I feel like that's going to be the case. Poor Keith and the race marshals are going to have an absolute job this week sorting through all the penalties. I feel like half of them are going to end up getting chalked up to racing incidents just so that Keith actually has some time to himself this week.
Yeah, seems like he actually won't have some time for himself this week, as these drivers are not clean. As even John Ford said it in his into community race channel, it's a terrible race for some people. It's just, I wonder what happened to Victor, since he's still racing, so nothing too major, but still, just how did he turn into a helicopter? That's my question.
Yeah, there's been a few questionable moments in this second race, hasn't there? The driving standard's not quite at the same level that it was in the first race, and now that it's all settled down, the drivers are calming down a little bit. I think emotions perhaps got the better of a few drivers, I think, in this race. I think is the most diplomatic way I can put it.
I thought NASCAR would be like this, just these spectacular crashes. And there goes DCR, just, how about we do it anyway?
Yeah, they've really offered up an interesting, and I'm struggling for words. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but some of the driving has not been the best today. In this second race, Nathan Alder's still in the lead of this race. Andrew Glegg is in second as it stands. Isaac Johansson in third. Then it's Joost Veyers, Victor Lundgren. They're quite close together. That gap slowly coming down. Victor Lundgren catching up to Joost. each lap, but only 2 laps to go for him to catch up and make the move. Could potentially be on the cards. We'll see by the end of this race. Little Skittles currently in 6th position. Keith Holt not too far behind in 7th. And then Roger Sale in 8th position, the last driver on the grid. We'll keep our eyes on the track on this battle of a 4th position. Juice Veers and Victor Lundgren. Victor, I think he's closing on Juice, isn't he? Slowly.
He is closing, but it's a really slow progress. Let's hope we might see a battle at the end of this race. Something interesting will keep us on the toes and will actually give us something to commentate. Otherwise, I just know that I'm looking through the games, and actually Leicester had a goal, but it was cancelled by VAR.
Yeah, it was.
So
I saw. So I saw, yeah, Leicester having their goal rolled out for offside. So for once in my life, VAR has made a decision for me.
Just thanking VAR. Also, I want to ask, what happened? Why is Newcastle third?
Newcastle, because they got bought out by the Saudis.
Oh, makes sense. Man City is somehow not first.
No, of course not, because Arsenal are having a good season.
Aston Villa fifth.
Yeah, because they've got Emery in charge. Emery knows what he's doing. Come on, Spitz, have you not been keeping up with the Prem? This is what's happening with these long races. We've started talking about the bloody Premiership.
Well, because no one watches our league, or our main league, because we actually got a very interesting, well, now going on for the lead, with Slavia Prague being first by 3 points, Sparta being second on 62 points, Wilton being third on 56 points. That's the top 3. Separated first and third are separated by, I don't know, like 3 games. Not 3, that's, yeah, 3 games. But
you know what? I'm gonna. TKR Mercury's in the chat says Sparta over Slavia always.
You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
I knew that was coming. I'm gonna have to start putting some bets on the Czech league. That's the way to make money, isn't it?
If you want to place bets, no, just go into the French league, mate. That's the real part. Harmless league. League 1 is so in rigged that it's not possible. Last time I checked, PSG was third. Now they are first with 75 points.
Yeah, it always happens. Imagine they've got the best players. Anyway, we've been talking about football for so long because there's been nothing going on track. We're now on the final lap of this race. I won't make the mistake of giving 15-lap races again. This is not happening again, I'll tell you that much. However, we have to give full plaudits to Nathan Alder here in the lead of the race, and this time, certainly by his own merit, if not last time, I have to say. Last time, almost got that lead taken away from him by Ryan Skywalker with a little bit of an incident, but fortunately for him, Nathan Alder held on to the lead of the race, took home a race 1 win, and here he comes on his parade lap. It is almost, as the crowd goes mild. Nathan Alder in first position with 10 seconds gap behind him to his next... Well, the next driver along is his TKR stablemate, Andrew Glegg. Both drivers in that white Cupra livery, and then Isaac Johansson now in third position. He had a good battle with Andrew Glegg, which unfortunately came to a head. And then he is now down in third. Joost Veers in fourth. Victor Lundgren, he's not been able to catch Joost at quite the right amount of pace unless he can make a serious send up in towards a hairpin. It doesn't look like Victor is going to take this position away from Joost. However, Joost did go into the wall there on the exit of the chicane, and now Victor Lundgren is right up behind him. Are we going to see another last lap position change at the hands of Victor Lundgren in towards the hairpin? He's trying to get the switch back on Joost Veers, breaks a bit deeper, goes a bit wider, and then cuts back, gets alongside Joost Veers, and now they're going to go side by side down the back straight. In the lead of this race, Nathan Alder comes out of the final corner. He's going to take home a race 2 win. That's 2 race wins tonight And then behind them, Victor Lundgren has managed to make the move stick on Jost Meyers. These two have been racing all race long, at least since about lap 10. And Jost is going to break very, very deep into the World Champions. Going to go super, super wide in towards the final corner. Cuts the corner and then manages to hold on to position, but then gives it back up to Victor Lundgren on the line. Good sportsmanship from Jost Meyers there to give up that position on the line, as he knew a penalty would have been coming if he held on to it. He finishes in 5th position behind Victor Lundgren in 4th, Isaac Johansson in 3rd, Lil Skittle in 6th, Keith Holt is going to finish in 7th, and then Roger Sale rounds out the 8 cars that are left for us in 8th position. And that's the racing. Breathe. I mean, I suppose we've been breathing since about lap 7, haven't we? But, you know. Breathe.
Yeah, just breathe a little bit more then.
Well, there you go. That's race 1 and race 2 completed. We'll see if we can have a quick chat with Nathan, potentially, if he gets in the Discord. But a quick roundup of the racing. Of course, Nathan Alder took home both wins tonight. Fantastic racing from the British driver there. Ryan Skywalker, unfortunately, dropping down in race 1 and doesn't take home quite the positions that he would have wanted tonight. His championship hopes are dwindling quite fast. He was fighting an uphill battle anyway. Hopefully he can come back and try and challenge for the championship a bit more next season out. We'll see if Nathan comes in for an interview, but until then, Spitslam racing tonight. Race 1 quite calm, race 2 a bit more crazy. What are your general thoughts?
Yes. Craziness. I don't know what happened in race 2. What was that? Just total confusion. I still don't know what to say about it. Can we have as the second guy Victor Lundgren? Because I want to ask how he did the helicopter.
It don't look like there's anyone joining the voice chat at the minute. However, they've had a long race. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time round.
Yeah,
might not be able to chat to Nathan tonight. However, it's not going to be the last time that we talk to Nathan, as he does quite often win these races. So, no, not that there's nothing lost by not talking to him. However, there's only so many times we can say congratulations on winning and him say thank you. So we might round out there after a long stream. Next week we'll be back to normal with 15-minute races. Next week is playing host to, where are we, Spitslam?
Wait, we're 50-minute races?
50? No, 15.
You said 50.
No, 15.
Oh,
Jesus.
wait.
Jesus, definitely not 50-minute race. Definitely not 5-0.
God.
1 5-minute races, especially not after today. Next week, you're going to see us going to Silverstone to the home circuit of Nathan Alder, John Ford, and Andrew Glegg, and many other drivers. Isaac Gard. Silverstone, of course, home of British Motorsport. Formula Renaults from 2011, then 3.5 litre V6s should be roaring around the circuit, and we'll see how they do. Actually, let's have a quick chat with Nathan Alder. I said I wouldn't, but I said there's only so many times we can say well done for winning, Nathan, but well done for winning 2 times in a row tonight. Race 1 was potentially a little bit easier. It kind of was a bit more steady, and then Ryan gave you a good challenge, and then there was that moment, wasn't there, where you kind of went back end out, and then Ryan almost went into you, but the TCR kept you stable, didn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I made a small mistake. I took too much curb on the first part of that chicane, which upset the car a bit too much, and I managed to sort of gather it together, which cost me a bit of time. And Ryan, unfortunately for Ryan, he had nowhere really to go, and obviously he wanted to keep up his momentum to try and pass, but he just nudged the back of me and he went round, which was unfortunate, because it was a very good battle up to that point, and very hard work. And it was interesting how we were stronger in different sectors. In sector 1, he was just so much quicker. It looked like he had his car maybe a bit lower, a bit harder sprung, so through sector 1 he was untouchable, but he couldn't really take advantage of the curbs in the last sector. So I was able to gain him back there, so it was quite an interesting battle, that.
Yeah, we did notice that. We didn't know whether to put it down to quite the setup or cars, but it definitely seemed like there was a bit of a difference in the cars. Of course, Ryan in the Audi, you in the Cupra. That Cupra seemed to be quite good in the mid-speed, but then, yeah, I think Ryan had a bit of speed in the straights as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that second race as well, a little bit more chaotic, wasn't it?
Oh, just a bit, yeah. It was a bit bumper car-like at some point. I mean, there was a lot of side door-on-door contact from everyone, really, but, I mean, you get that in touring cars. Some people were just maybe a bit too aggressive, not sure, but... yeah, the first race, it was a good start. Everyone got through turn one clean enough. I think Ryan sort of sent it into turn one and managed to hit someone, kept it together, and then I think towards the end of the first lap into the hairpin, me and Ryan were side by side again. I don't know if it's the first lap or the second lap, and it looked like he wasn't going to brake until I braked, and yeah, he was lucky there was no one in front of us, like directly in front of us, because he went through like a bit of a torpedo, a bit like Danny Kimmy out that one, but yeah, and then it was a bit later, he was on the back of me again, someone made a mistake, caught the wall of champions, I scraped them, but Ryan got unlucky and slammed into him, and yeah, he didn't have the luck on his side tonight, but sometimes you make your own luck, so yeah, it was good. Hard work with a smash windscreen for most of the second race, but yeah, great results for me.
Yeah, they certainly were, and actually, last thing from me on the wall of champions, actually, we were trying to debate what the fastest line was in the kind of lull of the race. You launched over the curbs in the wall of champions there, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's all down to the car setup, really. It was run a bit higher than I wanted, a bit softer, and it was able to take the curbs, and you can gain so much time. It's obviously a risk, but yeah, get the car set up right and you can make a lot of time there, and it paid off big time tonight.
It certainly did, yeah. You had a lot of speed on basically everyone else in that corner. Well, I shan't keep you any longer. Thank you for sticking around for the 2:15 lap races. We won't make that mistake again. We're back for 15-minute next week.
Nice, yeah.
But fortunately for you, it's still 0-0, so you haven't missed anything.
Oh, okay. Great, excellent. Come on, yeah. Let's hope it doesn't stay 0-0. Yeah.
Well, you need to get yourself secured in the promotion spots. We kind of got into football talk in the middle of the race.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, up the Rovers. So yeah, come on. There we go.
Right, thanks for joining us again.
Cheers,
Nathan.
guys.
We'll probably see you next week. But
hopefully, yeah. See you then. Hopefully.
See you then. Ta-ra.
Bye.
There we go, Nathan Alder, race 1, race 2 winner. Always good to chat to Nathan. Well done to him for winning both races tonight. Splitslam, you said it was chaotic. Are you expecting much of the same next week?
Ooh. Back to Silverstone. We've
got a good record at Silverstone, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. F1 doesn't have. We're in an open wheel. We have a Hamilton fan. I don't know who Nathan is for. Let's just say Verstappen. So yeah, I think we can recreate some things. So yeah, chaotic definitely can be.
Okay, well we know what you expect. We'll see what comes about next week. Of course, it's going to be hopefully at exactly 7 o'clock next week. Hopefully the servers don't die on us again. But until then, thank you to everyone that stuck around for this slightly longer stream tonight. It's been a pleasure to stream once again, and we'll catch you next week at Silverstone.